actually terrify every SEO specialist or digital marketer listening.
I was like, wow, okay, so they have great SEO, so much so that they made this great case study, but they're not appearing anywhere.
Like, I don't think people have thought that deep. Is it like a slow transition which is happening, or is traditional SEO dead?
That's the big debate. Some people are going to say all the different tactics are still relevant now.
Right.
Another thing that's going to change, and I think it's a big one, is the way we go about keyword research.
Do we even need websites anymore? What do you think?
A lot of agencies are being hit super hard by what's going on. For the sake of my business and yours, I think, let's hope that websites stay relevant for a bit.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, everything I might have just said might be completely obsolete. So who knows?
ChatGPT said, I think they're collaborating with Shopify and Stripe to start selling those.
So skills that are still relevant.
Meet Benjamin. At just 6 years into his career, he's the head of growth at keyword.com. His company is literally tracking search visibility across ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and I think 7 AI platforms. Benjamin isn't theorizing about which SEO tactics survive. He is actually implementing all of them, and he has that data. And what he's discovered should change how we think about getting found online. Benjamin, welcome to ChaiNet.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So let's start, Benjamin. Let's directly get in the crux of the question. So for a business owner, right, who's still focused on something like Google rankings and SEO, how bad is it? Are we, is it like a slow transition which is happening, or is traditional SEO dead?
Yeah, well, I'll first start off by saying that, I think we're all terrified by what's going on. So you're completely right about that. I would say that if we're just focused on the idea of Google rankings and clicks to websites, like what we used to think about SEO traditionally, then it's pretty bad, right? The rise of AI search is literally redefining what it means to be online. We used to think about clicks and rankings. Now these are becoming a bit more secondary. They're still important, but a bit more secondary. Like what I mean to say is that for Google, at least, you would be able to rely on keyword rankings to measure your visibility, because higher keyword rankings means more clicks, more visibility. But now what we're seeing is that with the introduction of these AI tools, and now even with Google with AI overviews, and just very recently AI mode, is that the concept of rankings is not disappearing, but it's not as important. And that could be very discouraging for those who relied on this channel for many different years and who had success with it, right? So in that sense, it's bad for business owners, because I mean, the way in which we're doing SEO is changing, but that it doesn't mean that it has to be bad. I think that the overall approach to SEO, or as you mentioned it, GEO or AEO, whatever people call it, I don't think anyone has really agreed on what we want to call this. Some people just
Right.
continue with the word SEO. So whatever you want to call it, I think that regardless, that will change, right? So we're tending more towards improving the visibility for a brand and its content, as opposed to just measuring rankings. So that's like a big shift. Now, coming back to your question, whether this shift represents a transition, or if we consider that SEO is dead or already dying, I would say, as I just mentioned before, that it's rather that SEO is evolving. Traditional SEO still matters very heavily, but the way that these LLMs crawl the web is not the same way that Google does. They rely on different alternative sources of information. They rely heavily on context, co-occurrence, and they try to pick information from different areas across the web to formulate an answer that answers very specifically what the user is trying to achieve through his or her query. So in that sense, it's completely different. I was doing a demo for our product AI Visibility, which actually is a tool that helps you to track the visibility of your brand across different AI search platforms, ChatGPT and whatnot. And I like to tailor the demo to the client that I'm doing a demo for. So what I did is that I went on their website, I looked at some case studies, I found one of their clients with whom they had very good results on SEO. And then I told myself, okay, I'm going to take that specific client, which was an HVAC contractor, and I'm going to put them, I'm going to track their brand across some very generic prompts, such as what are the best HVAC contractors in my area, wherever they were located, and some other prompts. So a very vague type of prompts, right? But they're very much focused on finding the best HVAC contractors. And to my surprise, I tried all these different prompts and they were not appearing in any result.
Right.
I was like, wow, okay, so they have great SEO, so much so that they made this great case study, but they're not appearing anywhere when it came to ChatGPT specifically. And there's a whole range of reasons why this would happen, right? But
Right.
one of the reasons I found was that one source in particular was being overrepresented, as in one of the sources that ChatGPT was using to frame its answer was a Yelp database, and they weren't cited in that Yelp database, right? So it just goes to show that you can have great SEO, but if you're not present in a specific source that is cited frequently by one specific LLM, it could make or break that brand's
Mm.
visibility for that platform.
Right, but that's very hard, right? Like it's almost impossible to pinpoint that what kind of source is being highlighted, and it is different for niches. It's different for all of them. So a lot of them, a lot of SEO tactics then also become useless, like backlink generation. And I'm not sure whether it becomes useless or not, but a lot of things change, right? So what patterns are you seeing for startups? What tactics actually make sense and survive the AI revolution, if I may ask that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big debate. Some people are going to say all of the different tactics are still relevant
Right,
now. But what I'm seeing, and okay, at first I'll start with this one is perhaps schema markup. This one's a very relevant type of strategy you'd use in SEO, especially when it came to being featured in rich results by Google.
right,
So schema markup, there is controversy. Some people say it doesn't matter. Some say it does matter. But in my opinion, adding relevant schema markup to your blog posts, to your product pages, so that AI engines can quickly understand what you do or this type of information, what it can be used for, what does it answer to in terms of what type of query the user is inputting. So that could
right,
be FAQ schema, product schema, how to schema, these types of schema, in my opinion, even though some say they might not matter anymore, are still worthwhile to add to your website. I would say that's one of them. Another one, and this is a lot of what I'm seeing and a lot of what the industry is talking about, is anything really to give context to AI as to who you are, what you do, who you serve, what industry you're in, and yes, also who are your competitors.
hmm,
So anything to do with comparison articles,
hmm.
case studies, listicles, because what you want to do is you want to give AI the ability to build a better picture about who you are and what you do, so that it trusts you enough to mention you in its answers.
That's very insightful because we there's a lot of noise going on about what's changing and what's relevant. Like there are a lot of people now who are saying that backlinks don't matter and you don't have to do all of that anymore. But yeah, as you said, that there might be instances like if they're not just random backlinks and if they're good PR articles and listicles, then it might make sense. And um, visibility and position, these are two separate things to consider, which I don't think people like. I don't think people have thought that deep. You said that entity authority or entity based SEO. So can you shed some light, like for some startup founder, what does that actually look like in practice? How do I build my entity authority or entity based SEO?
Yeah. Um, so entity-based SEO, very old school concept. The way that it goes, you can read into it. There's a lot of articles that talk about this, but the gist of it is that you want to identify all the different entities for which your company is focused on. And I'll just give an example. Let's say, for example, you're a email marketing software. Your key entities might be concepts such as email automation, customer segmentation, A/B testing. Some of the influential figures in that space, Neil Patel, or whoever might be an authority and is speaking
Right.
about this topic in LinkedIn or whichever publication email marketing is being discussed on. The organizations that would be associated with email marketing could be anything from MailChimp to HubSpot to ActiveCampaign. So all these organizations fall under all these different entities, all these topics of the entities related to email marketing.
Right.
And once you've identified these entities, you start creating content that is tailored to each area. So, for example, you might create, say, a comprehensive guide or a blog post that would be titled something like Mastering Email Automation for Higher ROI, which would explain, say, the concepts of email automation. It would highlight case studies from like different established organizations or successful companies. You would maybe profile some influential marketers in that space that would provide quotes that they've put on their LinkedIn about email automation and how it's improved the ROI for their clients or for a specific company they worked for. Another thing that's going to change, and I think it's a big one, is the way we go about keyword research. And I
Mhm.
mentioned this just before, right? What we considered keyword research as, okay, I need to find the right Google keywords to tackle based on keyword search volume, on the intent, on the competition level. That was great with Google. We had that type of data, but now with these LLMs, they don't give us this data, right?
That actually raises a question, right? Then a lot of these SEO consultation agencies, right? They're basically based on this, right? That they get you the right keywords. They say this is the traffic. This is how we're gonna optimize for that keyword. So, is it? Are we like witnessing the death of the SEO consultant? And is it gonna crush agencies?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, a lot of agencies are being hit super hard by what's going
Mm.
on right now. Because first of all, they're unable to adapt, or they don't know how to adapt because they've been in this traditional SEO type of like mindset for a long time. And we actually see that with keyword.com. We target SEO agencies, and a big reason that's popping up that's kind of worrying for us actually is for when they cancel their subscription is shutting down my company,
Ah.
and a lot of them are shutting down because they
Mhm.
just don't have any more demand. um, and I mean, as you know, 3 years ago you could charge 5,000 per month for SEO execution. Today AI tools can do technical SEO, and they can do all of these different SEO tasks. And while the output may be a bit shallow and lack context, it's good enough for clients to start saying, hey, like, why am I paying so much money for these tasks when AI can do it for cheap?
For every one agency, I think that's making millions, there are 10 that are shutting down, right? Who are not able to adapt, who are not fast enough. True, that's I think that's happening everywhere. Honestly, even in the tech side, right? There are
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like we have startups making millions in like 10 days or months or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
but then there are like 12,000 people laid off in a single day. So yeah, it's happening everywhere. Um,
I think
but
AI is resulting in the fast fashion of pretty much like
yes,
tech products at this point,
everything
right?
which is digital. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Do we even need websites anymore? What do you think? Are we heading towards a world where an LLM becomes the storefront and websites become obsolete?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Um, yeah, that's in the short run. I don't think so.
Mm.
I mean, these. So what I'm seeing in keyword.com right now is that in AI source lists, even though there are publications that are not, I would say, brand based, so they're like external types of publications, there's still product pages that are being sourced there. There's still pricing pages and pricing information that's being sourced there. So if you don't have a website, you're not going to be mentioned there. So there's so much value. There's still a lot of value in having your
Mm.
website there. You don't
Right.
want to be invisible in that sense. A user right now still needs to go to your website to check out, still needs to go to your website to buy a product, even if they've discovered you on ChatGPT. It's hard to say right now, but as I said, at the start of our conversation, anything can change so quickly in this industry. 2 weeks from now, everything I might have just said might be completely obsolete. So who
Right.
knows? For the sake of my business and yours, I think let's hope that websites stay relevant for a bit longer.
Yeah, for at least a couple of years till the time it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, of course, like I think especially digital goods, right, like SaaS products and your courses and anything, any digital good. It's physical goods we can still imagine, people are going to chat gpt, buying them off directly chat gpt, paying through some agent. That's still something which we can foresee happening in, let's say, a couple of weeks or months, because they've already, ChatGPT said that I think they're collaborating with Shopify and Stripe
Hmm.
to start selling those. But
Yep.
digital services and digital goods, I think there's still some time left for us.
Hey,
But
who knows? Maybe they'll be able to purchase subscriptions directly from within ChatGPT, and
yes,
ChatGPT will take a cut, which will just anger business owners. But yeah,
yeah.
that could happen. I
But
hope not.
yeah, but it can very well happen, right? That's what
Yeah.
we never thought, that Apple Play Store or Apple Store or Play Store will become like, so they'll become so big that people are literally like, I think App Store charges like 30-35% commission from developers, right? And they have to do it. They don't have any other option. There have been a lot of SEO courses, SEO certifications, a lot of things which people study and then become, try to become like skilled SEO agents or consultants, right? But should people abandon that, or or there are some specific skills which are still relevant, and there are some specific skills which do not matter?
Yeah. Okay. So skills that are still relevant. Uh, that's a tough one. I would say skills that were. I mean, most of the SEO. I mean, as I said, SEO still remains very much like the foundation of. In this case, for the question, AEO. I think that the question is very much centered on the idea of like what should you study in school. I think
I'm
to work
guessing.
in answer engine optimization. SEO is a wild type of industry to work in. You can look at some of the top SEOs, their profiles, and look at their LinkedIn and their experience. And many of them will have come from so many different types of backgrounds that it's very impossible to say this is the field you should be studying in. Like some of them did like classical studies, music theater. Some of them came from copywriting. Some of them were avid coders working on website, and then they basically enter into SEO, or in this case, I guess, answer engine optimization. I think the two in this case is rather the same. So there's no real field you should really focus on. If you work with websites, you understand how HTML, CSS, JavaScript works. You're
Right.
you're mindful of branding efforts. You're mindful of PR efforts. You know how to work a brand. You understand how to put yourself in the shoes of a user. All of these different elements are very much characteristics that are telling of a good SEO. Um, so
Hmm.
yeah, long story. What should you study? I would say just digital marketing and try to play
Right.
around with websites. You know what? Just whoever, Yash, just create a website just on WordPress. Understand how to create a website.
Right.
and then see if you can rank it for some specific
Mm,
keywords on Google, and then check on ChatGPT how you're able to pop that, pop
right.
that website up in the top of the results. If you're able to do that, you're able to work in as an
Amazing.
SEO.
That's
In terms of specific skills that like become, because you asked me that, like what skills
Mhm.
become more valuable with time,
Right.
I'd say that one skill that's becoming more valuable and that everyone is talking about is the idea of brand building. And brand building is becoming like an
Correct.
important visibility strategy,
Right.
because AI doesn't just pick up brands, it doesn't just discover them, it picks up what the internet is paying attention to. So if you can find ways to increase your earned media coverage, engage with industry experts, journalist networks, and other PR opportunities, you push for fresh content, you create content that gets cited by industry publications, you create a strong brand presence on social media, on
Right.
YouTube, you're more likely to get cited because LLMs reward recognition. So yeah, I would say that branding is something that's become a hot topic now, even
Very.
for SEOs, which
Mm.
traditionally wasn't as much before.
I think that's a very good one thing which our listeners should
It's
do.
easy to do.
It's easy to do. Yes, it's honestly, if your business is listed on, like, 50 different places, it might take some time, but it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's something which can be done. You just need
Yeah, yeah. And also sometimes, I've had this happen too. Like you have a blog post, if you have something, detecting all of the backlinks that are coming back to your website, you have a blog post from an author who is writing something about your product and it's wrong.
Mm,
Uh, Reach out to them
right,
and say, hey, listen, like this is, incorrect information. Please
right,
update it to this. And sometimes they won't answer you, but sometimes they will. And this exercise can be done by anyone. It doesn't have to be an SEO, and it just helps to improve the chances at which your brand will be mentioned
right.
in AI search results. So yeah, definitely
Amazing.
focus on that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Benjamin.
It was my
Everyone else,
pleasure.
that was Benjamin Thornton from Keyword.com, heading growth there and teaching us which tactics actually survive when the machines start making recommendations and start buying products for us. You can find him building the future of search visibility tracking while we're all trying to optimize for yesterday's algorithm. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure hosting you as well. Have a wonderful